So my question basically relates to the community transmission as a term itself. The WHO's coronavirus situation report 137 that was issued on June 6 still has India in the cluster of cases category, despite 250,000 cases and 7,000 deaths. And almost all the countries which has near about the same number of cases are in community transmission. So would you like to shine some light on this particular fact that, India is still in the cluster of cases and still has this high number of cases? Thank you.
No, I will. I'll certainly look into that. I mean, India is one of the most populous countries in the world.
Hours.
So when you look at the distribution of cases across a vast nation, then the actual attack rates per 100,000 population may be much lower. Whereas the same number of cases in a much smaller country may represent a much higher attack rate. But I will have to take a look at those attack rates by state and by at a lower level. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how India is specifically categorised at sub-national level, because I believe India is sub-categorising its transmission dynamics at sub-national level as well, and I would need to take a look and see how that has been done. I don't have that data here with me. I apologise.
Only one thing to add. I can't answer the specific question you asked, but the question about classifying where a country is within transmission can be done at a national level, but what's more important is it's done at the lowest administrative level as you can get, because that's what will help you target your interventions to what is needed where. It's not about which interventions, it's about the intensity of interventions that need to be focused on depending on that level of transmission. What we do know is in most countries and in all countries, the virus doesn't behave the same way across the whole country. It's not the same. You may have hot spots, and in many countries we're seeing these super spreading events, these increased or amplified transmission in specific settings, whether it's long-term facilities or whether it's expatriate dorms or whether it's churches. We need to make sure that what we understand about transmission is evaluated at the lowest level possible, because that will really help you be agile in the response that's necessary to break those chains of transmission.
Thank you very much. We have time for one or two more questions. Let's go to Kai Kupferschmidt from Science. Kai?
Thanks, Tariq. I just wanted to ask for an update on hydroxychloroquine. I mean, there's some clinical data coming out now from the first randomized clinical trials. And I'm just curious whether, you are thinking at all about stopping that arm of the trial, given that data.
The principal investigators and the executive group and others, I'm sure, will be looking at that data. They've certainly been in touch with the PIs on the recovery trial, which I believe has indicated that it will be stopping the hydroxychloroquine arm in the study. And we will also, obviously, in due course, have to look at our data. We don't have the same numbers of patients on the hydroxychloroquine arm, so it remains to be seen how significant the effect is in this group. But all studies are slightly different. All studies are designed in slightly different ways with slightly different endpoints. So I'm sure the PIs will be looking at the hydroxychloroquine arm again of the Solidarity trial to see whether or not we need to again carry out an analysis, this time around the issue of clinical effectiveness, and decide on that basis. But it is disappointing. I mean, it's always disappointing when any drug in any trial is not successful, because obviously that's a potential last opportunity for care. But we have to continue to build up the evidence. One trial is never enough in terms of positive or negative signals of clinical effectiveness. Patient groups can differ, situations can differ, the therapeutic indications can differ, and the outcomes being measured can differ. So I'm sure the PIs and the group overseeing the Solidarity trial will do the necessary analysis, and they'll take the necessary action in the appropriate time.
Okay, maybe the next question, and will be the last one. We have Thomas from Swiss Public Radio. Thomas?